Hi there. This is a reading for the collective. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Today, I'm going to do a reading about advice from spirit on how to be like less of a perfectionist and less overcritical of like yourself and others. And obviously, this is something I struggle with. I tell you all the time, like these readings are inspired with things that I'm going through or learning about myself because I know that the right people that um, have experienced the same thing are going to find this video when they need it. But I want to kind of tell you a little bit about what inspired this reading. Because to be honest with you, I recognized probably back in 2018, 2019 that I had a real problem with perfectionism. And I worked really hard. And I think, no, I know I'm better at that. Like I allow myself room to kind of, especially with my business, that's kind of helped me create this space where I just kind of jump in and I don't overthink it. I don't overanalyze and I just kind of do my thing and not worry about, how I sound or, sometimes I trip up on my words. I don't try to redo the video unless it's like a big, huge mistake, right? That I need to correct it so you understand me. But, I trip up a lot on here and I'm not afraid of that kind of thing anymore. But I recognize when I thought about this the other day, I still kind of struggle a little bit with the perfectionism, but being overly critical of myself, especially, I feel like more than other people. But I am critical of other people because, the mirroring thing, you see yourself in other people, right? But the overly critical piece, I didn't even realize how critical I was of myself until like a few days ago. And, I've had many people tell me, but it's like, until you're ready to kind of like face these things, you don't hear it or you don't get it until you're ready at that right time, right? So I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and so are you. But I want to kind of share why this is coming up right now or why I'm doing this reading though. Like I need advice, and I feel like anybody coming here needs advice, but I want to kind of give credit to Courtney Hennigan, I think is her name. She's on TikTok. She's another reader. She's incredible. You should totally follow her. But maybe like 2 months ago, she mentioned in one of her readings an obedient wound. And that like hit me really hard when she said that. I was like, oh my God. And I'm not digging on my parents or anybody else's parents because, I'm not a parent, but I have dogs and I screw up with my dogs too. Like I understand that. And I want you to understand that your parents, they do what they think is best. Obviously if you're in a terrible parent situation, like this isn't applying to you, but I mean like, our parents well, the thing about, sorry, the thing about living your life, right? A lot of times we get caught up in traditions or, what we've always known. And I feel like a lot of times parents take what they learn from their parents and try to do better, but like a lot of their values get passed down to, them, and then they pass it on to you, right? And so on and so forth. So, in this case, and I feel like for a lot of people, my father especially was very respectful. He was raised to have be polite, have manners and all that. And I actually like that I am, I have manners and I'm polite, and it actually kind of drives me crazy when people aren't like that, to be honest with you. But I was raised to be very respectful, and I'm glad for that. But I do want to say on the other side of that, what I've created for myself, right? You got to be responsible at some point, for your own healing. I was a very shy kid. Okay. There was like a handful, literally probably like 5 people that I would talk to. I didn't like, conversing with a lot of people. But my father wanted me to always say hi and be polite and all that stuff. So, which created this sense of like, me as an adult feeling like I can't say no to people if they need something, right? Which I'm better at that now than I was. It still needs some work, but you know, and with the like manners and all of that, like I think that kind of led me into this space where I'm you know, I get down on myself if I don't do things the right way, or if I you know, can't help somebody, or if I'm not available for somebody. So, you know, it kind of like, for me, it stemmed there. I think it started there. And then, you know, obviously I created it into this bigger than life thing that, you know, is my responsibility, and now I have to heal it. And now that's why we're here. It might look different for everybody, you know, maybe you resonate with that obedient wound, but, maybe you have different, maybe it's showing up in a different way for you. Maybe it's not perfectionism and being overly critical of yourself if you make a mistake or something like that, or, you know, feel like you did. Like you have higher standards for yourself than you do for other people, for sure, is a thing. But maybe it's not even an obedient wound, maybe it's something else. Whatever the case is, if you resonate with any of this, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to get advice on how to, you know, get out of that way of doing things, because it's obviously not healthy. So let me, 35, we'll say, okay. Let's get started. Yeah, thank you for being here, by the way. 7 of Swords. I'm like, is that the 7 of Swords? Yeah. Sevens are so significant right now. You've grown a lot. You've got to carry a lot. You've grown a lot. Like, this feels like kind of your last High Priestess. This feels like your last kind of I don't want to call it an obstacle, but I mean, in a way it is. It's like your last kind of draining, like weighing you down thing that you need to deal with, okay? Because, yeah, there were two women, like, carrying stuff on their back, or, like, King of Swords, like, feeling, like, heavy, drained even. This drains you a lot, and I agree, the Tower. Like, yeah, this is something that's going to really transform your life for real. The Magician. That's so good. The Magician. This is a beautiful Tower because, you know, how you were operating before was really unhealthy for you, really unhealthy for the people around you. And it was holding you back from being that magician, literally. Queen of Wands. Like you you literally it's like blocking your own success in maybe all areas of your life, but especially when it comes to like career. 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, part of like, is it the critical piece where you're like there's something you do. I resonate with this. I was just talking about this, I think, with my boyfriend. Well, I've talked to my friends too about like that. But when you feel like you've done something wrong, you isolate yourself. Like it's like a punishment for you. You isolate yourself from the people you care about, and you think you've got to make it right. You think you got to do it yourself, but you don't. This one doesn't want to come out. High Priestess. Yeah. You know what's really interesting too? Like, okay, so logic has been coming up a lot lately for me. I've been seeing a lot, and I did a reading recently where it was like, you know, there's all these weaved webs in your mind that you're trying to like cut the cord and like kind of clear your mind. And part of what is blocking your intuition and it's your intuition specifically, is this overcritical piece, where you're like in a loop of thinking, trying to figure things out, when Spirit is like, no, you don't need to, I almost said hear anything. You don't need to figure anything out. You just need to exist and let the answers come. And you know what's weird? It's like, I feel like Spirit's saying the things that you're focused on, that you get in that overcritical perfectionism piece, are like trivial. They're saying they don't even matter. Like, you think they matter. The Hierophant, the Sun, the Queen of Wands showed up again. Wow. There's a lot of major arcana coming through. So this is like, yeah, this is huge breakthrough, even though there's no swords. Maybe a sword will come out. But it's funny because it's like you think these things that show up for you where you're like, oh man, I really screwed that up, or man, I should have done better. It's like you're the only one that's thinking that, literally. Everyone around you accepts you for who you are. It's you who is being really hard and down on yourself, for real. Leo, Taurus, Pisces, Gemini. I feel like it's all signs because we saw a Magician too. I mean, I'm not even done shuffling. The Tower, King of Swords, King of Pentacles. Like, yeah, this is all. The only thing I really haven't seen is water. I mean, there's water there, but, well, Pisces, I guess. 8 of Wands. 8. Oh my God. I literally just saw an old video and I almost posted it of mine where it was 7788. Holy cow. 5 of Swords reversed. There. Wow. The Hanged Man again. Yeah, that was one. Oh, the 5 of Swords. You literally don't, like, you work too hard to, like, it's almost like you're trying to force yourself into this work mode. Like, one of the things with perfectionism feels like you needing to work yourself to death. It's so weird to say that, but like, that's another way that you cope. Like, this is a coping mechanism to try to make it right. Is you're like, okay, well, I screwed this up, so now I gotta go do XYZ to fix this. And it's like weird because you're not even, it's like, so let's say you made a mistake. Let's say, I'm trying to think of an example. 82. That's so weird. My friend Kiana just sent me 2882. I may have to tell her about that. So I'm trying to think of a scenario. Like, if you, let's say you didn't tie your shoes right. Okay. Instead of like tying your shoes right, like fixing it, you're going over to wash the dishes. Like, that's the best way I can explain it. So it's almost like so there's something about failure for sure, which I resonate with. It's almost like you give up on that thing because you're like, oh, I failed that anyway, so I'm going to go over here and make this thing over here perfect instead. When it's not even the thing that you want to focus on. And really, like, you're not failing at anything. You have never failed at anything. Wheel of Fortune, reversed. You've never failed. You think you have. But again, everybody else around you sees you as a really capable, really successful type of person. There's another 2. 2s, 7s, 8s, 10 of Cups reversed. Yeah. So your punishment to yourself is like, well, I don't get to have everything that I want. Oh, okay, there's 2 cards here, and the Emperor is reversed. Death, oh my God. That's weird. I'm like pulling them like this. The Lover's reversed. Yeah. Like, okay, well, 6 of Pentacles reversed. You're like, well, I screwed that up, so I don't get to have everything that I want. That's my punishment. Ugh, ick. 3 of Wands reversed. 2 3s. Wow. So you might be seeing a lot of double numbers, which I have too. That's funny. I feel like, sorry, like this is kind of not off topic, but this is what's coming through. Is that the sun? King of Wands. Wow. Holy shit. It's so funny because I was going to say you've got somebody helping you upstairs with this. So there's somebody that a masculine figure from like your youth is what Spirit's saying, but I was going to say childhood, or I was going to say a family member that like a grandfather or something maybe that really struggled with this as well, that was really tough on themselves. Like this feels like overachieving for you and this person, so they're trying to help you with it because they never got it right. Oh, I didn't even look to see if everything was in here, but I guess you can see everything. Because they did, but they didn't. Like they kind of like touched the surface on it is what they're saying. So, you know, they're wanting to help you with this. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked because I noticed that Wands and Pentacles are very significant because you got the Eight of Wands, Two of Pentacles, and then the Eight of Pentacles, Two of Wands, and then the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands came out. So you might be an earth energy and they're a fire energy or vice versa. But I feel like they're actually trying to tell you that the key to like success or getting rid of this kind of the overcritical and the perfectionism thing is utilizing passion, grounding your passion into reality. Like in passion in every sense of the word. I got like butterflies in my stomach saying that. So you see what I'm saying there? Like they want you to leave out the thought and the emotions and just lead with the passion and ground it into reality. Because part of what happens with you is you overthink, but then like you get so caught up in the overthinking and going down the spiral that eventually you get super emotional and drained and your cup is empty. Like you pour your own cup out, literally. Like your cup gets filled from whatever areas, like all areas of your life that you love, right? And then when something goes wrong, you think you don't deserve, you know, this 10 of cups. So you're like, well, I'm just going to pour out my cup now and just sit here and ruminate. Like, that's so interesting. Wow. Okay. And some of this, a lot of what's behind this wound or whatever, or what you're doing is what keeps you stagnant. If you've been feeling stagnant, like literally go to the distance. Literally you like facing this head on, facing your fear of this is going to propel you forward. Fork in the road. Yes. Because either you're going to choose, you're going to choose to continue to stay in this loop, this cycle, right? Or you're going to say, fuck that, new life, fuck that, I want more. So I'm going to do whatever it takes. You know, I've gotten this far, right? So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get rid of this thing. This wanted to come like that. Message in the bottle. Message in the bottle. Now let's go over there. Clean it up. Ooh. Well, okay, I was going to put that there, but community. Okay, so Spirit is saying too, because that Three of Pentacles is side of the community. 3-8, wow. The synchronicities are synchronicity. That's totally not even a word. Spirit is saying that some of the reasons why you're overcritical specifically is because of the people you surrounded yourself with in the past, not the people in your life now. Unless, not for you, unless you are still in places that you were in before. And what I mean by that is like, well, you're going to know if it's for you or not. Because maybe you've started questioning those people around you and saying, wow, what are their real intentions with me? What do they really want with me? How do I feel when I'm around them, type thing. Change in the wind. Yeah. To be fair. Yeah, you're not fair. Fair to yourself. Well, okay, there's something about like judgment coming through too. It's like you feel, oil heart, you feel like you have to, not the past and the future. In an egg, whoa, you feel like you're the judge, the jury, the executioner of everybody and everything. Like, that's not for you to decide what's right, what's fair. See, this is something that you might have been raised on, where you like your views on right and wrong stem from your parents, and there's almost a like rigidity to it where you gotta kind of let it go and say, okay, well, maybe that person is doing something that isn't really fair, or I don't really like, or like it's not morally sound, but that's their business. It's not mine. Even if it's somebody close to you, like that's on them, not you. Why are you taking responsibility for it? Rainbows are significant too. There's a rainbow in this card and that card. So you definitely need to drop that balance weight thing or whatever it's called. That I can't think of it. You got to drop it. Like, it's not for you to decide. And you'll find it more freeing when you let go and allow like those people to just be who they are. And actually, you might find the more that you kind of let go of your system of morals, or however you want to say it, the better that people show up in your life, because they're probably sensing your like rigid behavior, and like maybe it's causing them to do more things that you don't like. Maybe they wouldn't normally do that, but you're putting pressure on them. There's definitely a sense of like, with that overcritical piece, well, actually the perfectionism too, because you probably project that onto other people as well, where they feel like they can't, it's not enough. So they're just like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to, do the opposite thing of what I should do. Not to make you see, you're probably going to feel worse about that. Don't feel worse. Like, the key to all of this in life in general is recognizing where you're doing something. This is my birds. Look, I just looked at my cup too, and it says dominant. I saw the dominant word. Yeah, that's like the air. That's the emperor energy. Okay, too much in your masculine. Whether you're feminine or masculine, it doesn't matter. Like, you're a female, male, whatever. You are too much in your masculine energy. You got to get more in the softer. You got to balance those two. Like twos. You got to balance the energy, right? I thought somebody was about to come in the door. Nobody's home. That might be a message for somebody. But anyway, God, there's so much going on right here that it's like overwhelming. So there's a sense of overwhelm with your priority. Like, your priorities are so out of whack, you've got no idea. Your first priority should be yourself, always. And then the rest of it, like, there's something about you needing to be more in the flow and go with the flow. Like, there doesn't have to be a plan for everything. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row. You don't have to do like if you have a routine, which I do, I've been actually implementing better, healthier routines. I kind of fell back into not so great ones, which is okay. That's, life, right? You just got to get back into it. So, if you've got like an unhealthy routine, like to the start of your day, you got to change that up. Like for me, I've been drinking my coffee outside. I've been trying to spend more time outside because I know that's what I need to do to get grounded, right? And to get out of my head. Okay. If you're a person who right away goes, okay, like this is what I do. And I've been having to stop myself. Like, okay, I wake up and then I'm like, I gotta do this, this, and this. No, don't do that. Wake up, be present. Like, this is why I'm going outside to have coffee, because I'm enjoying the coffee. And I'm sitting outside, I'm looking at nature, and then I play with my dog Roscoe for a while because he's got a lot of energy. And then I take my dogs for a walk separately. And it's like, that's the routine I've been trying to get in because it's a healthy routine. If you're in a routine that's like what I'm talking about, where you're like starting to think right away and you start taking action, Spirit is saying no. Rest, start the day, rest, focus on one thing at a time, and then allow the day to move you where you're meant to go. There's definitely a sense of, see that rigid energy that I was talking about, where you're trying to control, like, because you feel out of control because you're trying to change things, but you're like, I got to control everything down to the last detail, including my day. And Spirit's like, no, that ain't it. We're not going to do that anymore. So, and I'm getting drained talking about this. So, maybe one thing that you could do with your day, maybe there's somebody that you can have an accountability partner where you're like, hey, maybe you can, or maybe I can message you sometime during the day and have you check on like where I'm at as far as like going with the flow, or being present. It feels like being present. That way you're thinking about it. Or even, one of the things I started doing, I set a reminder on my phone to get out of my head. Like, and it's every day. It pops up as a reminder. Maybe something like that. Set a reminder where you're like, am I being present? Am I being present? So you get in the habit of being more present instead of focusing on the future. Okay, what do I got to do next? No, we got to be right here, right now, right? And that's when you start getting the messages of where you want to go, where your next adventure awaits you. Excuse me. And I want to make it clear that this isn't going to be easy. So if you fall back into old habits, like I was just saying, where I'm like, okay, on my phone too much or whatever, because like I'm overwhelmed and this is a lot of change right now that I'm trying to implement myself. Like I'm already trying to do these things. Then, I just say, okay, and acknowledge it and then try to do better tomorrow. That's it. It's as simple as that, even if it doesn't feel simple. Red flag. What is it? You are here. Oh boy. Yeah, see, you're waiting. Actually, that's a finish line. You're waiting for the finish line. There's no finish line. Like there's always going to be something that you're working on, like with yourself, or there's not, here's the message. There's not a destined point that you get to where you're going to be ready and healed and whatever to get in the energy of receiving. This feels like you're already there. Like you're already in, it feels like you're already in the right energy. You're just like trying to be in the perfect energy, and you're never going to be in the perfect space energy or whatever. You just got to start taking action. Okay? Maybe getting your nails done. I was looking at the nails. Pretty. If that's your thing. And Spirit actually wants you, I was just looking at this giraffe. Spirit wants you to, when you get caught up in the moment, try to see the bigger picture. Like maybe try to look at it like if you're giving someone else advice, what would you say to them? And I feel like for everybody watching this, it's not, I was going to say some people, but it's like anybody that comes across this, like I'm noticing a theme here, like walking through a door. You just have to walk through the door. You have to walk through it, not think about it, just do it. Not think about, well, I got to do this first. No, you don't have to do anything else. Just walk through the door. It's open. There's rainbow here too in her hair. It's like an orb. Auras might be significant. I just noticed this orb. I was looking at the outside glow. This stuff is so beautiful. So a change in the wind. I feel like, so one thing actually that's coming through is you're very unique and different. And you need to utilize that to your benefit. Like some of you might show people how to fill their own cup. Or like some of you might teach like a self-love course or something like that. I don't know. Because, you know, when we talk about self-love, you know, people think of it in different ways, but there's so many different ways you love on yourself, right? It's endless. So like that's a big key right now, is embodying that self-love. And that's actually, this is like the change in the wind that you need, because the thing that's stopping you from like embodying the self-love piece is that you're too judgmental of yourself. So you got to get rid of that. You got to get rid of the judge. You're not the judge anymore. Maybe saying out loud, like, I'm not a judge, or I don't know, like an affirmation where you're like not trying to look at things as black and white. Because you know what's funny is I was looking at these pillars, I'm like, it's black and white, but I was thinking light and dark. No. So you're not looking at black and white. Everything's got a gray area. Okay. And okay, the Spirit is saying, for everything that you've done that you've thought is wrong, or, well, wrong. Yeah, just, it's wrong. Like, did you actually physically hurt somebody? Did you kill somebody? Like, your idea of like how you should be reprimanded for, you know, hurting someone's feelings, we'll just say that, is ridiculous. Absurd. If you think about everybody in your life that you've got, or maybe just focus on one person, think about a time that they might have hurt your feelings, right? We're humans. We're going to do that. We're going to screw up. Allow yourself to be a human. You're not a robot. Stop acting like it. This is very robotic. Woo, that one hit me hard. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Yeah, there's a chest. Look at white and black again. It's not like you're making it too complicated. It should be this easy, that you've got everything that you want, that you're standing in your power, you're leading, you're at peace, you're living this comfy lifestyle, whatever that means for you. Like, what's not for you is the games that you're playing, that you think, like, I don't. So obstacle course is coming up again. Like, you think you got to jump through all these hoops, and it's like, no. You just have to be you, because you are actually freaking amazing. We're gonna need some affirmations after this to. Well, it's funny. I almost got out on a different deck. I should have. Maybe I will. I'm gonna do something unorthodox, because you know what? It's good to do that. Step out of your comfort zone, for sure, is definitely a thing. So actually I feel like, so two, any kind of twos, you're like trying to, pick a path, and we're trying to move towards the things that we want, right? Passion, especially. What lights you up? What lights you on fire? Spirit is saying anytime you get caught up and you're like overwhelmed and you don't know what to do and you're feeling bad, tend to something small that'll get your mind off of it. Read a book, watch a show, like distract yourself in a good way, in a healthy way, instead of isolating. I gotta tell you, when I came to this realization the other day that I was like especially overcritical of myself, like too overcritical of myself, I felt so much freer. Like part of the letting go of it is first recognizing it, and then you just have to implement the changes that you want to see. So, Spirit is here giving us the tools. But really, it's just about understanding that you're allowed to be flawed, because everybody is. Every single person is. As long as you're not intentionally trying to harm anybody and you try your best to make things right. And the key to everything for me, and maybe this is something you need to hear, is acknowledging and owning up to mistakes you make and how you hurt people. And sometimes it's really just acknowledging yourself and then changing the behavior. That's it. It's as simple as that. So once you start doing more of that, like, you'll feel better. Like, first step is acknowledging that you're too overcritical and have way too high expectations for yourself that are ridiculous, and you're never going to meet those expectations because the bar is set way too high. So you're going to just stay in this stay in the cycle or the loop or the stagnant place if you keep focusing on what you could do better. Like, just do it. It'll get better as it goes. Like, when I started my business, when I started doing tarot, actually, we'll just go there. When I started doing tarot, I, knew, I was 12, 21. I knew I was going to be great at it, but, and I think how everybody starts out if they don't have a teacher is they just look at the book instead of, focusing on their intuition, what they're picking up at looking at the card. I used to read the book. And I wanted to memorize it. And I never did, thank God, because it's not about that, right? So, but it took me, a few years to really feel confident in the messages I was giving. And even as recent as the summer, I had people that I read for at this like fair. And I, like, for a while, I don't think I'll do fairs, but eventually I'll get back at it, where they had me doubting my messages. And like, that's so ridiculous because I know how connected I am. The key is to show up and do the thing. That's the thing Spirit wants you to do, is just to show up, do your thing, whatever it is, in any area of your life, and work at it. And it'll get better and better and better. Everything requires work, but what everything doesn't require is you, overanalyzing it, picking it apart, trying to make it perfect. Like, no, just do what makes you feel good, because then, you know what? It doesn't feel good if you're doing that, right? It doesn't feel good to you. That's what you really needed to hear. So some affirmations here. That's what you really needed to hear. The things you love, if you keep throwing at it like this system of judgment, those things aren't going to feel good to you anymore. And you don't want that because you love the things in your life. Modesty. Limits. Oh, that's a good one. We need that. definitely. Wow, I thought, okay. Risk. Yeah, see, you need to just take those risks, baby. Mooses might be significant. Rocky and Bullwinkle, modesty, my bad. See, acknowledging. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to not know all the answers. See, that's what I'm saying. You think you've got to have it all figured out. Nobody has it all figured out. I needed to hear that again. I'm even willing to admit to my boss that I screwed up. Behind all this humility is the me that knows it's better to be modest than to be a die-hard, try-hard, know-it-all. Isn't that mature and gracious of me? You're welcome. Yes. Yes, nobody likes this is giving, that's so funny because I just had Harry Potter playing in the background. This is giving Hermione Granger in like the first book, the first movie. Like, oh, she's insufferable, right? But she gets around the right people that kind of allow her and give her room. This is a perfect analogy. Thank you, Spirit. Harry and Ron give her room to be herself without judgment, and she really flourishes, and she allows herself room to make mistakes and kind of take risks and be the badass that she is, right? She's always been a badass, but she had to be around the right people to kind of embrace that. And I love that because you know what? I'm surrounded by all the right people who allow me room to be flawed. Are you? Ask yourself that. Limits. It's fun. Stop. I can't. It's fun to be a yes person, but not when the yeses are maybe responsible for you suddenly having no time, patience, will to live. It's time to exercise your right to set boundaries and declare limits on how much responsibility you can take on. Yes, you are sometimes allowed to say no, and no, that won't make anyone claw your eyes out. Well, there's a yes there. You know what you can handle, and nothing is going to fall apart if if you nobly admit you've noticed that you're not able to add another unopened note to your novel of notifications now. I love this. I want to give an example of something about saying no. So there was a while there, and I was telling my boyfriend at the time that I was getting really mad at my dog, Peanut. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm so mad at her. She's so great. I'm like, there's got to be a reason. Well, then I started putting two and two together and recognized like, hey, I'm not getting any sleep because she's waking me up at 3 a.m. because I used to be on that schedule for a job I used to have. And I couldn't get her to, well, first of all, I was allowing her to wake me up and then feeding her instead of saying no. Like I'm her, owner. I hate to say that. She's my baby. She's literally a baby. I love her. But, she's my dog, right? So it should be my rules. But I was allowing her to dictate like my sleep schedule. So then what I started doing, and I'm giving this example because maybe this will help you recognize where you're not setting boundaries, right? And you don't realize you're doing it. What I started doing was was putting her in a different room at night. And it was hard to do. I felt terrible because she's always slept with me. But I'm like, I got to do it. I made her comfortable. And then I would just get up whenever I got up and then I'd feed her. Well, now she is laying in the bed without waking me up at night because she doesn't want to go in that room. Okay, so you got to say no and set boundaries with the people you love. Otherwise, that's when you become an angry person and, you're getting mad at people when you need to say no, right? Risks. I take big risks and leap into the unknown with fearless abandon, knowing that the best surprises and richest experiences come from bold choices. Worst case scenario, the unknown is filled with spiders and they swarm me and eat me and decorate their spider cave with my bones. But what are the chances? Yeah. So I feel like too, so you might have a fear of stepping into like these great experiences because maybe you're just used to, a specific pattern or specific routine, like I was saying, but you need to ask yourself, okay, what's a worst case scenario if things get great? Well, things get great, I'm going to feel better, right? So yeah, Spirit is definitely saying to all of us that resonate with this reading to lighten up. It's not so bad. 3 8s. Wow. Okay. Oh, 4 actually. There's 8 over here too. Whoa. Infinity. I'm surprised, there is a card where there's an infinity sign for this deck, but I don't know what I can't think of what card it is. I don't think it's out here though. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for being here. I'm proud of you. You're doing the best you can. Maybe those are some affirmations you need to say to yourself. I'm allowed to be flawed. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to be a human. And you give the grace, that kind of grace to other people, right? So you got to give it to yourself. Anyway, any likes, shares, comments, subscribers to my channel are super helpful and appreciated. If you'd like to donate to my channel, it's not expected but appreciated. I will put my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal in the comments. Right now, I'm pretty much only doing online bookings. I'm not really going live much right now, and I don't really see it for the foreseeable future. So if you want a one-on-one reading, if you resonate with this and need more help, or need help on something else, I will put the booking link in the comments as well. And I hope this reading helped you, because it did help me.